All right, gays for Gaza, this video is for you and for everyone else too. Just if you want to have a laugh, if you want to see how suicidal empathy kills people. And gays for Gaza are not some unique outliers. We have women for Islam, kind of like chickens for KFC. We have blacks for Islam, especially when it was the Arab African slave trade that was far more lethal and longer lasting than the transatlantic slave trade. It's kind of like blacks for slavery. Women for Islam is like chickens for KFC. And gays for Gaza is no different. So Sadiq Khan, who just came from the Hajj pilgrimage, proving to the world that he is a practicing Muslim, as soon as he came back, he is also a mayor of London, so he can't really openly be homophobic or anti-LGBTQ. So he put out a post, he put out a tweet congratulating people of London for having another gay month, because this is a Pride month, and Muslims. Oh God, Muslims are having an absolute meltdown. So my son, look at this. 5 Pillars posted this article, which has had 3.4 million views, but only 500 likes. Only 500 likes. So it's basically telling Muslims, a brief guide for Muslims living in the West on how to navigate LGBTQ Pride Month during June. So one Gays for Gaza person woke up suddenly and he goes, it really is this simple. If the Green Party ever collaborate with 5 Pillars, because they have a history of doing that, again, then I am out. And so are thousands of others. No more interviews, no more endorsements, nothing. Well, he still hasn't woken up because he's still a gay for Gaza. Look at it, he's still got the Palestinian flag in his bio. Progressive movements cannot exist with homophobic religious fundamentalism. Idiots! Look at this. We've been telling these people for years. Look at this. Muslims have been doing this for years. Look at this. Muslim kids stomping on pride flags. But we still have gays for Gaza. It's like, so, guys, it's just, as I've said so many times before, these people have only one thing in common. Because they're socialists and communists and whatnot, they want to destroy Western civilization. That's it. They want to destroy Western civilization. They want to spread anarchy. So out of that chaos, they can create a new socialist utopia. That's the lefty worldview. And the Muslims, on the other hand, they want to create an Islamic caliphate out of that chaos. That's it. They have nothing else in common. And look at this. Look at this woman going viral on social media.
Sadiq Khan, you baffle me. How does one go from just days ago being stood at the plains of Arafah on the best day of the year, when Allah descended to the lowest heaven to hear the du'as of the Hujjaj, which you were a part of, where I'm sure you asked Allah for his forgiveness, I'm sure you must have expressed your gratitude to Allah, and I'm sure you must have asked him for his guidance.
Or maybe he's just putting on an act because he has to keep the Muslims happy. So he's like, hey, look, I'm a practicing Muslim. And then at the same time, he has to keep the LGBTQ community happy. Who is he? We actually don't know. To be honest, I still don't know. I don't know. I don't think he's a radical Muslim. I really don't think that. But I also don't think that he is someone who's good for Western civilization. He could be a modern woke, kind of like Zohran Mamdani, who still feels a little bit for the aggrieved Muslim community. But at the same time, he's not a radical Muslim either. So take it how you will. I don't know. It's irrelevant. It really is irrelevant what kind of views people hold secretly in their hearts, because there's no way of knowing it. We can only go by how they conduct themselves publicly. So whoever he is a divisive figure. He's not good for London. He's not good for the West. Even if he's not a radical Muslim, he's still not good for the West. And if Western civilization falls, then he will be remembered as one of the key players.
To then, just days later, calling for the hundreds and thousands to gather on the streets of London to celebrate LGBTQ,
Ooh.
Something that is diametrically opposed to Islam.
She's true. She's right. Islam tells Muslims to establish a caliphate. And once you've established a caliphate, then you need to gather up all the homosexuals of your living in your caliphate, take them to the highest point in the city, and then say, hey, what's down there? Boop, sorry. We've got videos of these people doing that. And I'm laughing at the stupidity of these people who still simp for them. Just mind-boggling. But it's not really that mind-boggling. As I said, like the black people who are defending Islam when Islam has subjugated their ancestors for 1400 years. We have women like this clown. I mean, she defends Islam. When her prophet said the majority of the inhabitants of hell are these women. Why? Because they are disobedient wives. That's it. Because you nag your husbands. That's it. Not because, and also deficient in intellect. That was the second reason that Muhammad gave.
What on earth would drive you to do that? See, what I think it is desperate attempts to be accepted.
Oh.
But you never will be accepted. So long as you claim to be Muslim and have a brown face, there will always be some resistance towards you.
How pathetic is this? Like, the guy has obtained one of the highest positions one can achieve. And this clown is saying, she's trying to gaslight him, and not that he will be gaslit. He's the master of gaslighting himself. She's telling him, and this is the view that they hold. They say that to me all the time. Like, oh, you're brown. They will never accept you. Who are they? What do you mean they? Like, my audience is close to 4 million people, mostly Westerners. And I get so many love letters from them who are conservative right-wing people. But if you ask them, these people, they will never accept you. I mean, even ethno-nets don't even come after me for some reason. They might come after me at some point, but even they don't come after me. It's because there's no reason. I don't say things that are anti-Western. Not just because I don't say them. I don't believe in them. That's why. There's no reason for someone to hate me. Yeah, but if I start saying that, I'm a proud brown man, I'm brown power, I'm proud Pakistani, proud to be a Muslim or whatnot, then of course at some point, because obviously then if I am all of those things, then our interests will not align. And when our interests don't align, that gives rise to a conflict. And then of course, then I will attract all kinds of attacks and slurs. And so that's not, I'm not doing that consciously. It's just how I am ideologically. But these people will always gaslight you. She's gaslighting Sadiq Khan, who's a mayor of London, elected 3 times mayor of London, and they will not accept you because you're a Muslim. That's what they keep telling themselves. It is their coping mechanism. That's what they tell their children, and they tell their children they will never accept you. Therefore, hold on to your Muslim identity, hold on to your brown identity as tightly as you can. But it's such a contradictory viewpoint, because if you think that they are not going to accept you or embrace you, then what the hell are you doing in their country? Why are they have given you equal seat at the table? They are paying you just like they would pay. Actually, no, they're paying you more than they would. They're looking at this point, they're actually looking after their minorities or these non-natives much more than they will look after the natives. The whole DEI concept, you know what it means? It means diversity, equity, inclusion. You know what equity means? It's not diversity, equality. Equity means that different people need different kinds of help. So if you are a son of a migrant, then if you are a migrant, then you're going to run into more roadblocks. Therefore, you need more assistance. That's why migrants get hotels, because they have nothing else. But white people, natives, if the natives become homeless, then they have a separate queue. These guys are priority. So what we have, so this is the hierarchy in this new DEI world. A fresh immigrant, an uneducated immigrant, because he's got nothing. So he's got nothing but challenges. Therefore, the state has to look after him the most. And then you have educated migrants, because then they can actually, if they're educated, then they'll get a job, and then they might be able to look after themselves. They might be able to pay their own rent. But if not, then again, they have a separate category for that. And then you have children of migrants, like this woman. So they are a little bit higher, or they're a little bit lower than educated migrants, and then uneducated migrants. And then you have the native who've accumulated generational wealth. They are privileged. They're white. The whole system is rigged in their favor. So they are at the bottom. Oh, actually, within that there are categories. So there's a white woman, and then the white man. The white man is he's at an absolute lowest in this DEI philosophy, because he's got everything going for him. He's a man. He's white. He's got generational wealth. He's educated. He can go to a university and all that. So he should be able to look after himself. But on the flip side of that, you have a migrant from sub-Saharan Africa. He can't even speak English. He's got no skills. So the government needs to invest a lot more into him before he can be a productive member of society. That's DEI in a nutshell. Equity and equality are very different words. Equality means all of us are equal. And I reckon this is so pervasive. This is so pathetic, because look, when I moved to Australia, I didn't have anything going for me. I was still a little bit privileged because my parents were paying for my university fees, which was $10,000 a month. But I know some students have to look after themselves. That's and I didn't expect Centrelink payments. I didn't expect any welfare. It was a different world back then. There were no welfare payments for non-Australian citizens. There was no DEI or equity at that point. So you could say that I was disadvantaged, but at the same time, that forced me to do something about, not two jobs at the same time, because we were still allowed to. So I had a job. I'd go to university during the day, and then I'll have a graveyard shift at my at a petrol station. Before that, I worked at Maya. For an overlapping time, I had two jobs. But I wasn't allowed to work more than 20 hours a week. Otherwise, I could jeopardize my student visa. So all of those things were happening, and those things actually propel you to change your situation and make a life out of it, and become successful. America is full of those success stories where people move to America, or where people move to a new country and they have to start from scratch. So there's nothing wrong with that, but this DEI actually de-incentivizes hard work, and you have these. And at the end of the day, look, that's the funny part. That's the saddest part out of that. So even if you do everything for them, you gaslight your people, you put them at the bottom of your priority list, you do everything for these people, and they still hate you. That's the sad part of it.
Regardless of which principles of Islam you give up in the process. And quite frankly, it's frustrating for the rest of us. When the likes of you in public places act as if values that are diametrically opposed to Islam we are okay with, then it confuses people about what Muslims tolerate and don't tolerate.
So they're worried. So they want Sadiq Khan, who's the mayor of London, they want him to go full homophobic as his religion demands. So, and I actually want that to happen. To be honest, I actually do, because that would expose them, which is a good thing. I actually want them to happen. But if they did that, then of course, I think that would be a massive wake up call for all progressives. Like I reckon. Well, actually, I don't know. But it will definitely be very interesting to see how the so-called progressives, respond, because of course, we'll be laughing, we'll be watching, we'll be like, ha ha, gays for Gaza, ha ha, you having fun now? We'll be doing that, of course, as you should. But it'd be interesting. It'll be very interesting to watch how it unfolds. But hey, look, there is a plus side to it. I said this many years ago, when there was a Danish or Finnish. No, I think she was a Dane. There was a Danish woman, Muslim. She was actually white Danish. I think she was half Danish, half Muslim. Maybe that's why she became a Muslim. She was the first female imam. This happened like many years ago, like 10, 15 years ago. And I said, you know what? It is possible, because once you start bringing in white people, into your medieval religion, then it is quite possible that those white people might bring in their liberal values and they may contaminate Islam as well. So it's quite possible. So after that, we saw gay imams, female imams, very liberal Muslims, Muslims who are saying that, we need to liberalize Islam. So that is also a possibility. So, when Muslims celebrate converting white people, they're not always winning, because a lot of those white people, when they read the fine print, they say, "Oh, what the hell? We're leaving Islam." But a lot of them actually liberalize Islam too. So that's bad news for Islam and these Muslims, the kind of Muslims that I showed you. Like this. Look at this woman. Check out this woman. She's created a gay mosque. There's music, so I can't really play that. Look at this woman. She's converted to Islam. She's brought a copy of the Quran and she's waving a she's waving the pride flag in a mosque. This is a legit mosque, guys. This is a gay mosque. Look at this. This is a prayer mat. So you never know. You never know. Hey, you know what? Either way, it's hilarious. It's funny. So would you want Gays for Gaza to liberalize Islam? I don't really care about Islam. I don't think Islam is going to win. Yes, they've made a lot of sneaky moves, but it'll definitely be interesting. Who knows? Who knows how Islam is going to come out of this? When the final showdown begins, in which I hope and I believe they're going to lose, as a result, a lot of people will have to leave the West. A lot. I mean, a lot. It will happen because Western civilization collectively will arrive at a conclusion that, hey, guys, look, we tried multiculturalism. We tried to embrace everyone, but they still hated us. And look, we've just gone through civil war, and then it didn't work out. Now you go. So that's going to happen. So when that happens, I don't know how the Muslim community is going to react or come out of that. Of course, there will be a class of enlightened Muslims who will say that, hey, guys, look what we did. We were shouting Sharia for UK. We were giving these open, hateful sermons against the locals in their own country. And you already have some clerics who are talking about this, who are saying that, look, guys, we're not doing it right. We are moving towards a clash which a lot of Muslims actually don't want. A lot of Muslims don't want, but when elephants fight, then it's the grass that loses. But then there will be another side of Muslims, another radical side, which is never going to go away, which will double down and they will say, see, these infidels, they will still gaslight the West for even defending themselves, kind of like what they do with Israel. This is why I love Israel and I support Israel, because Israel knows what they're dealing with. If you don't want to, well, actually, no, it's too late for us. We'll definitely have a massive showdown. It's going to happen. I reckon it's going to happen in the UK first, and then Australia will be watching. The US is still too big to fall. The US is too big to fall, but the US is also going to add fuel to the fire. There are a lot of patriotic Americans. That's why I love USA. We're already seeing that happening in Texas and Florida and so many places of the US. And of course, there is an equivalent of London in the US, which is New York. So New York is going to become a lot more Islamized, which is going to infuriate and aggravate a lot of Americans, which is going to hasten the blowback against Islam. So, but if there's any place where it might get actually really ugly, then I think it's either France or the UK, where there will be a fight. There could be some countries where they may just fall. For example, in Vienna, 44% of students in primary schools, 44% are Muslims. They have Muslim names. 44%. So at some point, let's say when those primary school students, when they become adults, in that generation, 44% of them would be Muslims. And of course, the next generation after them would be even more, unless something drastically changes. So some countries may just quietly fall without a fight, but I don't think that's going to happen with the UK and France. I think there will be a fight back. When it's going to happen, I don't know. The later it happens, the more brutal and bloodied it's going to be. And yeah, well, we try to warn. We try to warn, guys. If it happens in 2030, then I would say that I've been trying to warn the West for 12 years. If it happens in 2030, because yeah, it's been 8 years since I started my YouTube channel.